Good morning, UPBOptionMillionaires.com. It is February 2nd, 2015. We had the Super Bowl yesterday. What a great ending. Stock futures here are up a little bit. We're up 0.2%. I've been gone all last week, really out of touch with the market and starting to get my feet back in. And if you look at the chart here for the S&P 500 ETF, SPY is under 200. And you look at the S&P 500 futures here, a beautiful support. You just draw a trend line straight across here using these points. And we come right up to where we fell on Friday. A nice pullback from since I left the previous Friday, down 2% in January. I see some stats being posted about January being a good indication of where the market heads the rest of the year. But again, we were down last year. We were a week into the end of January, start of February before we recovered. And we made a nice rally, and you can look back down here. This is exactly what I was talking about. Start of February. Nice sharp decline, and then rallied for most of the year. We had pullbacks in between of those V bottoms, but right now those V bottoms seem to be out the window, and we're getting some support here at these current levels. And I'm looking for a move up. We have earnings reports out this week as well. So apparently I missed a lot. I mean, we had Amazon, Amazon breaking out of this wonderful wedge here to the upside and looking at 375 as a point of interest here in the short term. We're at 354 now. Google apparently had a decent earnings report, getting up to that 550 level. It can break above it. I think we're looking at new all-time record highs for Google, and we'll see if that happens. Let me just bring up Twitter, because Twitter's been beaten down. I saw a little article coming out this morning. It's in the reads, I believe, this morning I put together. If not, it's something I've read absent outside of that the most tweets for the Super Bowl ever. Of course, Twitter's growing. It's still a young company. And so I might be looking at some calls here for Twitter. Again, I think it's going to head back over 40, and it's going to be a stock that's going to really outperform this year. ExxonMobil has earnings out this morning. Look at this line in the sand here, about 92.50. Of course, oil rallied late in the day on Friday as the market declined. ExxonMobil, I'll just pull up a minute chart. You can see it burst over 89 on its earnings report, has since pulled back, but I'm looking for some calls here because I think if oil bounces, ExxonMobil could probably muster its way back up to about the 92.50 level. Could happen as soon as this week, so something to keep an eye on. Disney reports earnings, looks really good this morning. You can see the stock is up off its lows, and I think it get back up to Friday's high at about 93.10, and then it bounced to 92. So we could look at some calls here heading into the earnings report. Let's look at USO, which tracks crude oil, and you see it's a sharp move here. Closed Friday at 17.82. It's up, almost 70 cents here. Continues to look bullish off its lows. Look at that low there at 16.58. You can look. This might be the bottom we were looking for. So fill up your car. Look at this move we've had here. Back at the highs here when crude oil was at about $1.10, has pulled back, but look at this reversal, and this could be the start of something to get us back up to the 20 to fill this gap down. Something to keep an eye on. And Apple, let's pull up Apple. Earnings report certainly surprised a lot of folks here, as I can see a nice wick to the upside. That's the 20-day. Let me just pull up a daily candle. You can see not resistance here, but still well-defined channel here between the 119 high that we saw back in December and the high that we just hit recently, which is right up there last week. And the support would be down here at about the 106 level. So it's consolidating, much as it's done in the past, and has led to higher prices. So it's something to keep an eye on. And just go into a couple other Wynn Resorts this morning, some positive commentary out. The revenue out of Macau has been dropping significantly, but we could be reaching a point of interest here as far as support for Wynn Resorts. And analysts came out, maintained a 193, which gets us right back up perfectly here with the long-term support level that was broken back in September. Support here will act now as resistance at this level, and the support now is at about the 138 level. We've had a pretty sharp pullback the last 4 trading sessions, so I'm looking for a move back up to 160 and ultimately 190. Another way to play that is Las Vegas Sands, which continues to look weak as well. But by the time it does start to recover, it'll be too late to get into the call. So this might be something to look for a recovery bounce in, and we'll be getting possibly some calls. Heading into this week, earnings reports continue to come out. The financials remain weak, and look at JP Morgan Chase below long-term channel here that we started back at the start of 2013. You can see it looks to be breaking down. That's really not bullish for the stock. We could be looking at a move back down to 50, so I'd stay away from this one until it gets back in this channel, if indeed it does. Same with Goldman Sachs, breaking down. Look at this, broke through long-term trendline support, back into the 172 range. So if you look at continued weakness, could get us down to 157, and this is not going to bode well for the market. The S&P 500 is also breaking out to the downside. That's not a good thing. QQQ, we're looking at that $100 level. I mean, that is just so key here. Has remained since the end of last year, in December. Strong support. So we'll see if the market can hold that level. We're at 101.10. That was the closing price on Friday. Something to keep an eye on. Okay, UPB here. I'll be back in the chat room. I was gone for a week, and it's nice to kind of refresh, hit the refresh button, look at the markets from a perspective of, someone that hasn't been watching it every single minute as I do for almost the entire year. Took the week off. Quick glances at earnings reports. I think crude oil, the bounce here is going to stabilize. Some of the names, ExxonMobil, Chevron, good earnings out. And, that's something I'm going to watch. ExxonMobil, if you look at the chart, 92.50. So if we're under 90 today, look for a move up to 92.50. And I'll be buying some calls and Disney calls as well, heading into the earnings report tomorrow after the bell. All right, UPB, I'll see you in the chat room. Everyone have a great trading session. What a Super Bowl. I mean, that was a great Super Bowl last night. I'm not a fan of either team. Actually, heading into it, I really didn't care who won, but it was entertaining. And I thought as the game really started to come into the fourth quarter, just a really, you couldn't have really asked for more excitement. Just an oh my gosh kind of ending. All right, UPB, I'll be back. Goodbye.